I just started mine.
Oh no, we're started early on one and not the other again.
1 second, folks.
Oh my!
Alright, we're good.
Woo! Jackpot up.
All right. Hello and welcome back, my friendly patriots. Jack Dennis coming from the great state of South Carolina here in Myrtle Beach.
Yeehaw!
We're representing the United States Constitutional Group right here on Facebook.
Woohoo!
And the Hawk Podcast can be listened to on your favorite podcast station. Podcasters, yeah. There's a lot of them in the world. Please stand for our pledge of allegiance.
I guarantee you with a chorus though.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just want to start by saying our condolences and to all the victims and the families with this Maine mass shooting last night.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Shame. Our heartfelt sympathies to all of you. So we're gonna get right into the show. Mike, what's your topic for the show? What's your topic for the show?
Well, I'm actually got some topics for next week's show, which is going to be a very happy topic. The last days.
What about this week? What do you got?
So I'm just showing everybody what kind of craziness is going on in this world without God.
Okay.
The UK University.
Hold on, not yet.
Oh.
Just seeing what you want to talk about.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was trying to get ahead of it. I gotta say something. Junior. That's Junior, folks.
No, it's not.
That Junior?
I don't know. He's
No,
got
what are
it
you
up.
doing?
Oh, you're looking at the table.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. There he is.
That's Junior, folks. He's over there busy working on a computer all the time.
Like usual.
Like usual. Where's Mike? There's Mike. So, just so you show we got real people. We're not, we don't have fake people working with us.
You know, for the longest time, I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh, and he used to joke around with a guy named Mr. Snerdley.
Never saw him, did you?
I do now. He's a real guy, and he sells. Well, no, he doesn't sell it. He advises people on how to buy product from conservative companies and stuff like that. So, but I saw it and I go, because at first I was just going by it, and then I saw Mr. Snerdley, and then I looked and I listened to the guy. I was like, holy mackerel, there was a Mr. Snerdley. So I always thought it was like, oh, what do you think, Mr. Snerdley? Like nobody was there.
Jack, what are you talking about tonight?
I'm going to talk about why the United States is not united around Israel. And the reason why I say Israel, not Ukraine, is because we had American victims there.
We sure did. So, you mind if I go first this week?
I do not mind.
Mike, you alright with that?
Sure.
So
Can we commentate too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have a new normal here in the United States.
I gotta move over. I'm seeing it cutting off.
Something that most likely won't change with Democrats and Republicans in charge. This new normal is migrants crossing the border.
Which we're not united in closing that down either.
No. In 2023, approximately 2.8 million migrants have crossed into our country.
That they know of.
That they know of. In 2022, that number was approximately 2.7 million. 5.5 million immigrants have entered our country the last 2 years.
That's a state that just walked
That's one
over our
state.
borders.
Yep. I think I might as well throw in 2021. 1.6 million migrants have crossed this border. The last 3 years have been the highest numbers ever recorded in our history. That was in 21 when Biden was sworn into office. So under his Democrat administration, we've had just over 7 million people cross America's border.
That we know of.
That we know of. Just yesterday, when I looked at it, more than 6,500 came through the border just yesterday. I saw that around 3 o'clock, so it's probably a lot higher than that. New numbers are added pretty quick, so I'm sure the number's over 7,000 by now.
Pat says, what do you think about Mike Johnson's first speech?
Did you listen to
I
it?
didn't really listen to it.
I listened
I
to
heard
it.
a little bit of it.
He's a constitutionalist. He's a gentleman.
He's a
He's
Trump
supposed
supporter.
to be a conservative. So we will see. I mean, he says the right things. He's 51 years old. He's been in since 2016. He's a family guy. Like I said, he's a constitutionalist, which is more important to me than a conservative.
Yes, more important than the party.
And he had quoted some of the Constitution in his speech. He had, and what he really did was must have blown Nancy Pelosi's mind was he connected the two, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution together, almost like he listens to our podcast. How without one you wouldn't have had the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, it
I know,
hasn't been 24 years,
He's a
24 hours
big
yet.
Trump supporter. One of the election deniers, wanted everything.
Well, he said he didn't fight for that,
But,
but,
but it's okay because Democrats did the same thing in 2016 to Trump.
they still what?
You know, so it's ridiculous when these Democrats do this shit. It's ridiculous when the Republicans do this shit.
When Kemp won the governorship, that lady's still out there making millions of dollars
Yep.
denying his election, and he won twice.
Yep. You know, so this border is a nightmare, and this 118th Congressional Congress fails to make U.S. citizens safer. These migrants are in our neighborhoods, staying in hotels, and getting fed off of taxpayer dollars, our dollars. All while we have starving kids here at home. I have no clue what these politicians have lost sight of that, how they lost sight of it. But enough is enough. Jack says we need to unite. How can't every American be pissed off that these migrants are coming in, stealing our land? You know, they're homeless. They're staying. Why should we pay for them to be in hotels? Just drive down the street. You'll know what I'm talking about. Think about this for each taxpayer. You and I will pay $1,156 for each alien a year. They said it's over $150 billion. I think it's a lot more.
That's right.
Now, if a child is born here from an illegal alien, that cost skyrockets to almost $9,000. All on a taxpayer dime. I never voted for this, and it's not in the Constitution to care for illegal aliens.
Matter of fact, it says the exact opposite in the Constitution, where if you got here by illegal means, that child is not a U.S. citizen. It's got to go. That kid's got to go. And Pat was just saying that Eric Adams wants to make 10 cities for these illegal immigrants.
Yeah. Well, New York already.
Because they're not
taking over
migrants.
parks.
They're illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
There's a difference.
I mean, you guys know my stance on immigration.
Since we started this podcast 3 years ago, I think that was one of your first subjects.
Yeah.
You know, I forget who said it, but they said there is no country without borders.
Trump did.
Trump that said it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
how
people
true
said
is
it.
Well, I
that?
think who?
There's other people that said it too.
I mean, this has been going on forever. I mean, when they invented immigration, the founding fathers said, there's no country without boundaries. But, they're making the word migrant and illegal immigrants, there's no difference in them. There's a distinction with no difference. But there is.
Yeah.
A migrant's a migrant, and an illegal immigrant is an illegal immigrant.
You know?
One followed the laws, the other one did.
This immigration problem puts a huge strain on local economies. That's insane. Like I said, it's out of control. Why should they be in 5-star hotels? Any hotel, for that matter. But you keep voting for these
They don't pay.
failures in Congress. This is what we get for having clowns running the government. I realize some of these aliens, illegals, whatever you want to call them, migrants, are awesome folks that want a better life. But America should not be in the business of taking care of illegal aliens before American
I was
citizens.
going to say, especially if they can't take care of their own citizens.
Yep, it makes no sense to me.
They don't even care about their own citizens anymore. That's what it seems like to me.
Yep, you're right.
We're a bother to them.
Last week we showed you in Article 1, Section 8, the powers of Congress, which is to establish a uniform rule of naturalization. Go ahead.
That says, where are they getting money for drugs and liquor?
We're giving it to them.
They're working $10 jobs doing construction.
Well, they're off the books. They're
doing
they're
farming.
getting welfare.
Yeah, they're
They're
getting money
getting
from the
food
government.
stamps.
They're
you
getting
know-
free health care.
And the food stamps now buys more than just food.
Listen, to tell you the truth, Pat, what they are doing is they're living the perfect communist life.
Yeah.
The government is taking care of everything for them, so they can do
Yep.
whatever they want.
Ridiculous.
Good.
Feel my pain. It makes no sense to us. I can't see how it makes sense to anybody.
Yeah.
Democrats, Republicans, they're in all our neighborhoods. They're ruining
Cities.
cities. These mayors. You know what? Even this the Washington mayor, Washington D.C. You know what she says? We're giving cops the authority to do what they need to do to stop crime. Last year,
Very nice.
she
of them.
hated cops.
Yeah.
You know,
I wonder what. Here's the thing, though. See, here's what the press doesn't do. They don't do the follow-up question and say, "What's the authority?"
yep.
Yeah.
Because you want to know what their authority is.
The Constitution.
Give me a hand. I'll walk you home. You live in this 5-star hotel? I'll get you over there.
Well, I think what happened is that the crime is getting closer to her neighborhood.
It's
So
getting
now
reaching her
the police can
constituents.
go.
That's what it's doing.
Yeah.
Her Democratic base. So now she's got to do something. She didn't care about it before when she was.
Now
one of the
it's getting close to the.
Well, they had a U.S. representative, a Democrat that was in Washington, D.C., got carjacked.
Yeah. Oh, they got hooked
That
up
was the
like
guy
fast.
from Texas. I forget what his name is, but he's been screaming on top of his lungs to close the border again. He goes to Washington, D.C. and gets carjacked.
So, if you look forward in the Constitution, look at Article 4, Section 4, which states, "The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion, and on the application of the legislature or of executive order when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence." We've already talked about domestic violence before. We've talked about immigration before. I hope you have the Constitution in front of you for you to read along. If not, go to our website. It's http //fedupwithpolitics.com.
I think it's //
It could be. Whatever.
I think if you put fedupwithpolitics.com,
It should come on.
it shuts up.
You know, it's right there on the computer. I have mine right here. My
I have-
Constitution.
I have mine at home. I forgot it.
You didn't know what I was talking about tonight, folks.
Well, I knew. I figured you would, but there was a time when I never came to this show without my Constitution.
I know.
I gotta get in that habit again.
You know, if anyone doesn't believe 7 million illegal migrants is an invasion, you need to get your head checked, folks. You know, like Mike said, these smaller states have less than 7 million residents.
It's like a whole state moving in. Just
Yeah.
going across the border. Here we are.
I said, it says the United States shall protect us. It doesn't say maybe. It's direct and to the point.
Yeah.
Shall protect. They are failing us every freaking day. Listen, we have so many issues going on in this country. The Israel-Palestine war, the Ukraine war, North Korea, Russia, China teaming up to form their so-called world order. And
Iran.
they want to destroy us. Iran helping Palestine and Hezbollah. You know,
Now
Biden said you
Lebanon,
cross this
Syria.
path.
Afghanistan.
Yep, you cross this path, we're going to do something about it. You know what they crossed the path, what did Biden do? He sat down. Didn't do anything.
Oh, he was looking for pudding.
He didn't get it.
You know.
The rioting that has been going on at colleges and elsewhere shouting how they hate America.
Those are the professors brainwashing our children to believe what they believe.
These are Palestinian people saying this right here in our country. Death to America.
Mm.
You know?
Right now, assemblies of Congress. Elon, what's her name?
Ocasio.
No, the other one.
Khalid.
Tlaib.
She couldn't even answer a reporter about how she felt about babies being beheaded and women being raped and burnt alive.
Yeah, she
She
don't
had
care.
no comment.
You know, but this rioting and stuff has to stop. These police officers' hands are tied due to these liberal idiots.
Mm.
We must be the ones to back them. The silent people have been quiet way too long, and we're starting to wake up, pissed about what they were seeing. You know, we have all heard the saying, we may have awakened a sleeping giant. I believe our patriot citizens who love this country are that sleeping giant. And once we awake, we'll get the affairs of this nation back in order. And that starts with protecting the American citizens, not aliens, not rioters, and not these anti-hating America groups.
Which are in Congress too.
Yep.
You know, and immigration is mentioned in our book coming out, Politicians Gaslighting America.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
I just got an email yesterday. The author's copy is being mailed right now. Should get it any day.
How many copies?
I don't know how many are sending out. But and we goes into we have to deal with another person who's going to set up everything for us.
Oh, very good.
So it'll be out.
I think before Christmas?
It'll be out before
Oh,
Christmas.
yeah.
Hopefully, right around Thanksgiving or
That'd be
I'm
good.
hoping.
If it comes around Thanksgiving, then we can try and get them out there on the Christmas list.
Yeah.
Remember, folks, these politicians will never secure the border. And since they failed to do their jobs, they increase tax revenue. We can increase our tax revenue with adding Mexico as a state. They can't secure it here. Might as well make them a country, or a state within our United States.
Could call it the New Mexico.
The new.
Older Mexico.
Yeah, older Mexico. But come on, folks. 2,000 miles of border has to be patrolled by immigration and customs enforcement. You go on the other side, we have to secure 800 miles on the other side of Mexico. You got Guatemala and Belize. We can do it. We need to wake up. We need to put our minds together and say no more. We're freaking done with these idiots, with these a-holes that are ruining our lives and our country. Sorry it took me so long. Guys, go
No,
ahead.
that was a good topic. Very good. And very true.
Well, you know, we were talking about it quite a few months ago now. But I think the United States is about to hit a crisis that it never hit before, and that is that we're getting a generation of Americans that are coming out of schools that do not know what America is. They were taught,
To hate America.
right, that the United States was built on slavery, racism, and hate. And you should hate your neighbor if they're richer than you. You should hate your neighbor if they're poorer than you. You should hate your neighbor if they're a different color than you. You should hate your neighbor if they're a different religion than you. There is no unity in this United States right now, and it comes from the top down.
Right.
And it's time to take our schools back, our accredited schools back, and our government back. It's time to put these bureaucracies out of business.
Yeah.
They are running the country, and the American people are not uniting because they're not educated. For the younger generation, and for the older, they're not informed, which goes into what I have.
I think they're not educated. I just think they're giving up.
No.
No,
These
the
younger
younger
kids are
people
not.
younger
are
kids,
not-
These
yeah.
younger kids are not educated. The older folks are not informed. The press and your government is not
Holding
telling
it back.
you.
Yeah.
You know, when you go up to somebody, if you're not into it like we are, if your day doesn't consist of this all the time, and somebody says, "Hey, my neighbor said over 7 million immigrants came into this country, illegal immigrants." First, they're going to be told, first off, they're not illegal immigrants. They're migrants and they're refugees. And that's all hogwash. That is just a lie. And, I mean, the one from Minnesota, what's her name? The congresswoman from the squad.
Oh, yeah, she's
Not Michigan, Minnesota. The other
Oh.
one. She literally was asked about the same thing
Presley?
that... No, the woman. She married the brother.
Talib?
No, Talib, the other, Ilmar.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was being followed in, and you know, this lady was asking her questions like the same thing they were asking to leave. Aren't you upset? And when before the doors can close, she started laughing and looked and goes, "Those are all lies." Boop. But in the whole time, she wouldn't say anything until she got on that elevator that the press isn't allowed on anymore.
Yeah.
And she leaned over with a big smile on her face and said, "That's all propaganda," and the doors closed.
Yeah. And that's exactly what they do. They give
Stop
you these
falling
lies.
for these clowns. don't believe the media, folks, because they're scumbags.
Yeah, they are.
They're hired.
You're right. They're hired by the government.
Plus, they went through the same school education that these kids are going
Yep.
through.
Those
They are
professors,
not only are they not rallying on that, but they're reporting what the kids are learning in those colleges, and in the regular schools now too.
Yeah.
Except for a few states that are outlawing that 16-19
Florida, I
program.
think is one of them.
Arkansas is a newer one. So if you're ready, I'll get into mine. I have to read mine because I have certain things that were said by certain people, and I want to try and get the emphasis of it. So why is America not rallying for Israel? How is there so many Palestinian pro rallies? So let's take a look at what the administration's saying. Kirby answers questions on Iran and Hezbollah, stating there is no evidence or intel on Iran or Hezbollah acting or directing or funding Hamas. Then the very next day, he goes to the pulpit and states, it's obvious that Iran and Hezbollah are
Can't read your own writing?
no, I can't read my own writing. It's obvious that Iran and Hezbollah are aiding to the cause and invasion of Israel's northern border. So the one day he says, what are you, crazy? The next day he's like, well, it's obvious they're the ones that are causing this problem in the north.
You had to say
the
because
northern
it
border.
was obvious.
Blinken states that Blinken says this thing. He says this. It is such a defeatist and victim statement that this is not what the United States wants. This is not how it wants to handle Iran. So they're going right back there. So that statement right there from Blinken is just telling you the United States is already defeated by Iran. And the United States is now the victim because this is not what we want to do. This is not it. This is not what
They
we
weren't
want
supposed to spend those
this
billions
wasn't
on
the way it's
this.
supposed to be. So, people, there has been attacks on military bases in the region, including Iraq. And in the attacks, there's been injuries to the United States military personnel.
Nobody knows.
Brain trauma.
25 people have been injured.
And that was just reported yesterday. 2 weeks ago, you didn't hear. They had 14 attacks in 7 days. 2 a day. On
And
military
nobody
bases.
was told. We
On
weren't
military.
told.
Do we as Americans believe that these attacks came from Hamas, who have their hands filled with the Gaza and the southern border? Of course these attacks came from Iran and Hezbollah. Who else would it come from? Hezbollah doesn't have enough money to take care of what they're taking care of now. Never mind shoot off rockets in a country that's 2 countries away. They could barely get it into Israel with
Yeah,
their
they
equipment
taking
they
it out
have.
their own country to Israel.
They can barely shoot these rockets they got now into Israel. You're going to tell me they have capabilities to go over Jordan and Lebanon and get into Iraq? No, they don't. So who's doing it? Iran itself has said that they were doing this. Iran itself has come on and said, yeah, we did this.
And nothing's happened.
And nothing has happened. So how can the administration with the straight face say Iran is not pulling the strings on this entire war with orders from China? So you know China's telling them, let it go, boys. Go ahead. Go nuts. Do your dream. You do you. You live your best life. Get it done. So they're attacking American bases. American bases with troops in the base. There's American troops in American bases being attacked right now, and the United States is not doing anything about it. Now trying to prove China is behind it. Yeah, so it's trying to prove China's behind it. That's another theory. No, that's tougher to get to. I mean, when you have the country that's doing it, admitting on
Saying they are doing
TV
it?
and telling the UN, yeah, we did it. Yeah, we did it. We're doing this. And the United States saying, I don't know if we have enough evidence on that. We don't have enough intel on that. So what is the government not saying that would cause unity in America? They are saying Americans were killed in the attacks of Israel by Hamas. They said, yeah, Americans have been killed on this. Just like that. Just sanitary, clean, white
Next.
walls. Americans are being killed. Yeah, Americans got killed. What they didn't say is that they were also beheaded. They were also raped. They were also stabbed. They were also shot. They were also kidnapped. Now our military is getting injured. Traumatic brain injuries and other injuries that we don't know about because it's not being reported. So, why are they not telling us? They're not giving the ages of these victims. They didn't say X amount of infants were beheaded. They're not saying X amount of pre-teen girls were raped. They don't know who got kidnapped, where they are, how many there are. Do you think they don't know? I think they know. They're just not telling us. So, the problem is that they're saying nothing about the loss of these people. And they're not saying what the incident was and how they were massacred. They did not, they sanitized this to Americans got killed. They're going more into detail with the shooting up in Maine than they are these American people that got beheaded in Israel. Raped in Israel. Family separated, kidnapped, pranced across TV. If this is not an act of war,
I don't know what it is.
if this is not an act of war, you are firing live missiles into a U.S. base, injuring U.S. soldiers and servicemen. You have Americans beheaded, stabbed, shot, and raped, and kidnapped. And this is not an act of war? If this is not an act of war, please explain something that is an act of war. This press and this administration is not uniting the United States. Because let me tell you something. If the American people understood what was going on in Israel, 2 Americans, and in that region now, 2 American military personnel, let me tell you something. It will be September 12th, 2001, all over again. There would be no pro-Palestinian riots. There would be no any kind of chantings. These idiots that are in Congress would not be walking by this press. They'd be voted out. They'd be censored. They would have everything taken away from them if the United States of America was being told what happened in Israel. I'm picking Israel because, thank God, mostly nothing happened to the United States over there with Ukraine. But in the United States, American citizens have been beheaded, stabbed, shot, killed, raped, and kidnapped. Military bases with military personnel are being attacked, injured. I don't know if anybody's been killed yet. They didn't report that. You want to know why they didn't report that? Because you have one death on one of them military bases. That is an act of war. So why is the United States not united in this? Why is it not September 12th, 2001? Because this administration, this government in both houses, and the press of the United States is not telling the American people what happened to Americans in Israel, and is still going on now to the United States military in the region. It is infuriating, and it should be against the law. I mean, these people should all be impeached, just like Dennis said. Whoever's allowing this to happen and not acting on it, and not saying anything, and not trying to get some kind of resolution to it, should be impeached. Washington, D.C. streets should be empty. Gone. Nobody left in
You know
there.
what it seems to me like? It's like we're playing out in a movie, and the government already knows what they're going to do, because you have the Israeli strikes, they have that. Now all of a sudden there's a mass shooting. You know, to get your mind off of the Israel thing, the Hezbollah thing, the bombing in Yemen and Iraq. You know, so it's like it's been being played out exactly the way the government wants it, and just people can't see the light in front of them.
You watch the news today, they know every single thing about this shooter. That he had a mental problem, that he went into an institute for 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. You could go on and on and on about this guy. And I'm not this is a tragedy that shouldn't have happened to begin with either. But you try and ask the mainstream press what's going on in Israel, and it is as sanitized as can be. Like it just came out of an incubator, man. Straight out. Yeah, some Americans got killed. Next. Move on. Don't dirty up the white walls. We got everything just cleaned up.
What do you got, Mike?
Yeah, that's another thing we got to get rid of. Some of this press too. They ought to be impeached, fired, out. You know, but
tough to
like you
impeach
said, they're being taught. This is what they're being taught to report.
They hate everything. So,
It's a country of haters
it is,
Yeah.
it's sad.
that's running it. Not the American people, but the people that are trying to direct this country. Listen, like I said, you have military bases being fired upon where military personnel are getting injured, and we don't know if anybody's been killed yet. And
Yeah, sure
what?
has.
Nothing. What do we get? What do we get in response?
Lies.
I don't think Iran did anything. No? Then who in the hell did it? Was it the boogeyman? Where did these missiles come from? If they didn't come from Iran or Hezbollah, don't you think as the United States government you should kind of figure out, hey, where did that come from?
With all the intelligence they
We
say they
are
have.
shooting down drones. Where did they come from? We're out in the middle of the ocean and we're shooting these things
Hey,
down.
listen, Trump killed Iran's head military guy from 2,000 miles away while he was driving in a car.
He was a good shot.
Man, that guy missed his calling.
So, Mike, you have the floor,
Oh.
but don't drop the mic.
Dun-dun-dun.
You like that?
That's sure.
Oh boy, your kids right now are all synchronized rolling their eyes.
First, I would like to pray for people in Maine, Ukraine, Israel,
United States.
United States, for all the losses, the grieving, and, just the tribulation that everybody's going through now. And I believe it is because of our government. And you know why? There is no God in this country anymore. This is just a couple of things that I learned about today. I'm saying this to start working on something that I'm going to do next week. It's called The Last Times.
The last time?
The last days.
The last days.
Last days.
By the way, next week and the week after I won't be here.
Or me.
Abandonment.
Well, you'll be.
I
No,
won't.
no, you won't.
Post-abandonment.
Yeah.
I won't be here either.
Me and Jack are gone.
These are just some of the few things that are going, besides the ones I've already mentioned, that are going around in the world. UK universities have majors in witchcraft and cults.
UK.
United Kingdom.
Oh.
Chicago University has panels, discussions about liberating children from parents and allowing sex with consent. Nowadays, morality is determined by consent, not by morality. Hospice for profit are being investigated by the FBI for killing patients before 6 months because Medicare stops paying after 6 months. Making it out that they're being compassionate about it. These people are going to die. They're suffering. They're playing God. This is what happens when man makes themselves gods instead of letting God be our lives, be in our lives. This is what's happening right now. This is just a few things. And this is what happens to nations when they get rid of God, which is exactly what this nation did.
Like I said in the beginning, we have a lot of troubles in this country.
Yep. And it's because there's no God anymore.
Man, I tell you what, imagine being the next president. Like, you're running for president and you know what these problems are that the American people do. And then you go there and they say, oh yeah, by the way, Mr. President, here's the rest of your problems.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's so many. Our politicians have all started it.
Yes.
And I'm surprised.
Well-
I'm surprised the Patriots haven't finished it yet.
They are gods in their own minds.
They are.
They believe that they...
Who was that guy that did that prayer? He knew that 50 years ago. Al Harvey.
Paul Harvey.
Paul Harvey. Sorry. I asked you to give me his name. You wouldn't give me
You
his
spit it out before I could answer.
Al. That must
Where
have
do you
been
know
his,
about Al?
it must have been his younger brother.
Al Bundy? Talking about Al Bundy?
Did you ever notice that these guys always use words of liberating and freeing and
Well, Nancy,
words like that when it comes to our children? that they believe this is what they're doing for our children by liberating and freeing them from our parents or men having sex with them because they consented. A child can't consent.
The other day, they had Nancy Pelosi on MSNBC, and she was talking about this. And in her best ways, she was trying to support Israel without crossing that line of that crazy maniac, liberal, left-wing, nut job, crazy socialist party she has inside her party. And she was like, you know what she said? She said, I understand that they should search for what was the word she used? When you go to court, they should search for justice. She said they should search for justice, but not revenge. Could you imagine somebody in the United States government on 9/11 saying, "Don't look for vengeance, just look for justice"? You know why? Because she fails to tell everybody that we had American children over there beheaded, American citizens beheaded, American military personnel being wounded, catastrophic brain injuries. You know, these are the things. So when you sanitize it, it's easy enough. You know, listen, people, in my personal opinion, this is my opinion. These things are not my opinion because this is what was said. And then on this side, this is what was not said. So I'm going to say that emphatically. If you get mad about what I'm saying on that, choose your words wisely then. But opinion-wise, I wake up every day and I look at this and I just feel like the world is marching towards World War III blindly. Like a bunch of lemons just getting ready to walk off that cliff. And just willingly doing it. Just willingly to go on because somebody in a higher place in our government is saying this is the way we need to march. So we're marching. But think about it, and people are starting to say in some of these conservative news agencies, could you imagine if this hits at 3 a.m. and they got to try and let the commander-in-chief of our U.S. military,
try and wake them up
to get him out of bed at 3 in the morning and say, Mr. President, the world is at war. Because if you look at the map, the world is at war.
It is.
If this isn't exactly what the map looked like during World War II,
Yep.
of skirmishes that are going on pre-Pearl Harbor,
Yep.
then I don't know what the map looked like then.
I mean, you know, we mentioned a bunch of countries and we left out a couple. Lebanon, Syria, they were there too.
Well, you know, there's a couple other ones too. China, Philippines.
I read yesterday there's another little country trying to invade their neighbor that was once part of Russia. I forgot the name of it. It's a smaller country though, but they want to invade their neighbors because they want their land.
You know
what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's almost like a combination of World War I and World War II. World War I was started because there were so many different pacts.
Right.
There was pacts inside of pacts. So yeah, I made a pact with you, but I made a pact with this one first. So if I got to go with this pact, but this pact is going against your pact, hence World War I. World War II was conducted and accomplished because of appeasement. Let's sanitize this. Who's got the bleach?
Yeah.
Let's bleach this up.
Yep.
And guess what? Appeasement does not stop evil.
Nope.
That's the one thing it doesn't kill. You can rub bleach on evil all day long. It's almost like it gets it stronger.
You want to see Satan? Look at our senators. Look at our congressmen. Look at our president.
Look, let me tell you something. You're right. The evil is running this country right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are setting everything up and it's working perfectly.
But it's worldwide, man.
Worldwide order.
I mean,
Everything.
England and all the, people are saying that these things are wrong. I mean, Germany buying fuel from Russia that's invading
North Korea.
Ukraine, who's bordering all of these NATO countries that you belong to.
Yep.
You are literally fueling this war in Ukraine on your continent, literally right down the block.
Mike, you read the Bible just about every day.
Just about.
Just about every day.
I mean, I don't
Every
think
day.
there's.
Every day?
There may
Every day.
be parts of days he doesn't read, but he
It's
reads it every day.
day.
All right, so you read the
24/7.
Bible every day. Do you see signs?
I'm going to be going through that next week. It's
Okay.
called The Last Days. I'm going to go through the Bible with every verse that has the last day until Timothy 3, 1 through 7, which is a list of things that will happen before.
But you see the similarities
Oh, yeah.
going on.
You got a long
Which
show
one?
next week.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm just going to record Mike.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, these are just a few things that are happening right now. When you start messing with children, you can't get any lower than that.
Listen.
When you're saying, do you realize when they're saying if a child consents to sex, those are adults trying to get entertainment from our children.
If you want to see the evils against the children of this world, go see that movie, The Sound of Freedom.
Yeah,
Oh my good God. I mean, this world is hitting the bottom of the bottom.
I mean, they're using words like liberty, liberating, freeing, all of these words to make it sound like they're doing the right thing for our children.
I can't believe parents aren't up in arms. Can't believe they're not saying no.
They're trying to get rid of
Listen,
the
I tell you
parents.
what,
That's
I know
what
that.
they're
I
liberating
understand
the
that.
parents from the children
I
of.
understand.
I
that.
got
If they can get them away from them, they can do anything they want to
I
the
don't know
kids.
why. I don't know why the parents are allowing it. That's
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
I tell you, thank God my kids aren't. I would be locked up.
Yeah.
Because, like the saying that was going around a few months ago, that's again how fast America loses their memory. But, when my kids went to school and when I went to school, I had to give the nurse a note to give them a Tylenol. Now, they can change their sex
Yeah, without consent.
without consent of the parents.
Yep. Matter of fact, you could be brought up on child abuse if you try to stop it.
I mean, you go from, I mean, I'm 54 years old, my kids. So when did they go to high school? In the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So you went from then till today where my kid couldn't receive a Tylenol from the school nurse unless I gave a note to say yes to, little Janie's coming home as little Jamie today and you better not do anything about it or we're going to lock you up. This is not a warning sign to the American people.
This is
just
evil.
keep on cruising along.
These
Give me a
aren't
break.
people. This is evil that's going on.
Right. So we're just about ready to finish up. You guys got anything?
I thought that was enough.
Nothing enough? Mike, anything?
No, just tune in next week. I have a very happy topic of the last days.
Yeah, that's a happy topic.
But I tell you what, if I have a timeline, I'm throwing a party.
Listen, folks, being born here in America is amazing. Our country has so many things that other countries don't have. Like freedom of speech, even though they're trying to limit it. The right to own guns, even though they're trying to limit it. Freedom of religion, although they're starting to eliminate it. Starting a business. Other countries don't have that.
Just start
Jack-
eliminate
Trying
that
to
too.
get
Jack
rid of
has
that, too.
mentioned Cuba. How you work for the government. They tell you what job you have. You can pick what job you have. If you don't like that job, you can go somewhere. All the rights granted to us by our Creator.
Yeah, Cuba, you can go to job and have a nice job for the rest of your life, 8 hours from 7 to 5.
Yeah. But what about Germany too? Right? If you wanted to change careers, you had to go back to school today, right?
I think that's, we can ask Jackie, she's coming.
Yeah. I
So
think
we must
that-
never lose sight of what this country offers. We, the people, have the power to change what we want, when we want. We just need enough people to say enough is enough and join us in that journey. You need to educate yourself and others if you can. Show them that we're in this fight together. Mike, can you lead some prayer?
All right, 2 Chronicles 7:14. And my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. Then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. Let's pray. Lord Father, how desperately our land needs your healing. Lord, we see wickedness spreading across our nation. And we wonder how this happened. A solution seems so far away. The solution is in your words. You call on us to humble ourselves and seek you in prayer and turn from our wicked ways. Today, we confess that we have many sins and not much good. We turn from sin. Please bring us forgiveness and healing. May we be a part of our hurting country's healing. Lord, turn our leaders and people towards you. We pray this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. You know, we usually end the show with knowledge is power, because the more we know, the less these politicians can get away with, the less your neighbor can get away with. When you're lying, feeding you a line of crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna say this: be a hawk in a country full of political asses and elephants, and you know who I'm talking about. Fellow patriots, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Conservatives, Liberals. It's time for us to join forces and get back to the America we once knew, the greatest country in the history of time. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday. Bye.
Everybody, Joe.